Devil podcast, and today we're talking to Brian Lombardo, who is the athletics director here for East Aurora. We're going to go over some successes that we've had recently. We're going to talk a little bit about our new winter sports coming up, and then touch briefly on some of the capital project changes that have affected our sports teams. So, Brian, welcome, and thanks
Thank
for
you.
being
Thanks for having
here.
me.
Yeah, this is pretty awesome, and our new podcast set. This is very exciting. So tell us a little bit about what are some of the recent wins for the Blue Devils?
A lot, obviously this past weekend, on Saturday and Sunday. A couple of years ago, we had a similar kind of event where we won 3 state titles in one
Yes.
day.
Yeah, I remember that.
This one we have 2 with the boys cross country, boys soccer, and the girls cross country finishing 3rd. And just the realm of that, top three teams kind of in one weekend. You know, I know it's happened here at East Aurora before, but almost unprecedented if you kind of look at that throughout the state and other areas. So not for that group to do it once and almost repeat that feat speaks to the level, and honestly on the boys soccer side of things, even up a class.
Because that's new this year.
That's
right?
new. So we
Yeah.
went up. We are the smallest school now in Class A. It is the
amazing.
first Section 6 state title in soccer in a large school division. The previous highest level class where we won a state title was Class B when we did that 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and not the amusing part, but the interesting part of that state final game was when we played Rye. It was the largest Class A school in the state versus the smallest Class A school in the state.
It's incredible.
Just kind of how the numbers ended up in those 2 teams. And
Yeah. And we came out on top.
right, and it's just our guys have always, this group, you know, a lot of these now juniors and seniors were freshmen and sophomores and participated and competed and had a role in that first state title.
Yeah.
So I think being there before kind of calming the nerves, even the 1-0 lead, and they took some counter punches from Rye. I thought our guys managed it very well, kept them to the outside, and really kind of limited the opportunities, maybe more than you would have expected them. And when they were tired, they had a very emotional game the night before.
Yeah. Oh, right, because that was the day
They're
before.
right. So state semis is on
Wow.
Saturday. You know, and that the kind of the up and down from that, where Rye kind of got out and won 4-0. I think we're able to kind of cruise a little bit in their semifinal game.
Yeah.
And I definitely think our guys managed themselves very well. Boys cross country, I don't know how they consistently manage to do what they do with the targets on their back, right? Winning last year, returning a large number, and we're talking about, I believe it was 5 sophomores who ran that race for us. Only 1 senior.
That's
So
incredible.
you have that young guys who really are being asked to step up.
And they're doing it.
And they're the target. And not only do they do it, but really we scored 30 points to win the state title. Second place was 98. So by a fairly wide margin. And they're competing with teams now. They have the Federation Championships this weekend.
Okay, so that's coming up.
That's coming up. So they won the state title. They do merge all the results from all the classes.
Okay.
Together. They were 9th on that merge, and that includes schools that are 2,000 plus students, right? So they're 9th on that merge. So we'll kind of see in the federation where they kind of take the classes out of it, exactly how they fall. But that team has kind of been at the top, well, for sure the top of the section, and really hasn't been close all year. And now we'll kind of get in with some of the Class A schools in the state, and really get to see kind of where they are overall, which is, for a school of beds numbers 411, that's pretty impressive. So Walton Marnie, I think I did go through it just yesterday. I think it's their 21st or 20th state title
Wow.
since 1999.
That's amazing.
Right. So that kind of tells you they've run it's 20 because it's 13 on the girls' side, 7 on the boys' side, and just every year they're kind of, and there have been plenty of years where they've been runners up, or this year 3rd place. It's not even like they have 20 state titles and they're knocking on the door almost
Right.
every other time.
Wow.
So that really tells you kind of what the quality of program that they've been able to put together for a long time here.
I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things that have been circulating in conversations around here is the culture of Blue Devils. And I know, like, Maine and Hamlin, that was like the unofficial Blue Devils backer bar there when the soccer team was going
Yep.
to play that game. So I feel like the whole community kind of rallies around these guys, but inside the teams itself, it's really a culture that we're creating, and that's super special.
Yeah, the consistency we have in our coaching staff, really at this, and the high school level and in Section 6 is second to none, right? We're talking about coaches in both soccer and cross country, as we're talking about the successes of those programs
Yeah.
that started coaching in the 90s.
It's incredible.
So in 2025, they've been here since the 90s, and that consistency, that vision, good people
Yeah.
leading the programs, just kind of how it always falls in line, and that that group supports this group, and now they're coaching kids of parents they coached in the past,
Right. Right. Yeah, you're seeing that generational.
and so that helps
Cycle.
because then right away everyone there's that trust right away.
Yeah.
And when you have that success too, there's that trust right away. And when you've had the respect of the program, there's the trust that, and you can understand that parents are giving their kids to the district, right?
Absolutely.
And they're spending more time possibly with these coaches
Yep.
than they are even at home with their parents in some cases.
Right.
And having the right people there, and I really that's kind of the key, is that we have across the board the right people there. We get people who care about the kids first, and that's a non-negotiable in our program. We
amazing.
want you to care. If you care about the kids, we're going to work with you kind of and figure out how to set your program up on the right path.
Right. That's our most valuable asset, right?
Right.
It's our students, our kids.
It's a relationship business. They
Yeah.
have to be able, and they our coaches do.
That's awesome. Really,
So.
we're very lucky to
Yeah.
have them. Okay, so those are some recent successes. What do we have to look forward to? I know the winter sports programs are just kind of starting up, right? So what's going on now? I know we have Unified. Coming up?
Unified bowling will start in
Bowling.
January.
Okay.
We have boys swimming, girls cheerleading, wrestling that we're combining with Holland.
Oh, okay.
Also on
Okay.
swimming and cheerleading as well. Indoor track also combined with Holland, and then boys and girls basketball.
Nice. Yep.
So we have a pretty good. I mean, there are just fewer offerings in athletics in the winter season in Section 6 across the board because
Our weather.
there are some limitations.
Yep.
So our basketball programs. Again, we're talking about the coaching staffs and people who
Yeah.
care. Chris Casoni has been a face
Staple.
of athletics here at East Aurora for a long time. Gary Schutram, I think, since the 1970s in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
His wife was just deservedly so honored by the foundation.
Yes. That was a huge
as
honor.
right with their educational award. That family has kind of been a staple, living not far from Maine and Hamlin, as you mentioned earlier, right?
Right.
Kind of
Yeah.
right in that area, and everyone kind of knows. And Gary being in the Boys and Girls Club, everyone kind of
Yeah.
knows who they are. It again helps, right?
Yeah.
Well, Marty being involved with track, and then even some of the younger coaches. Chris Moosehaven has been around for a little bit, but has
Yeah.
a lot of support and spends a lot of time with those kids year round.
Yes.
Not only in the boys swimming season, but kind of the year round.
He knows them.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Megan Westbrook and cheerleading and what she's trying to do. Laura Radley with Unified Bowling.
Yeah.
Again, it's the younger coaches or coaches that are more experienced. They have a pretty similar characteristic as far as what we're looking for.
That's amazing.
And that's all the way through. The basketball teams, I was in the gym with the girls team yesterday, and you're watching, I think it's 2 8th graders and 2 9th graders up on varsity.
That's great.
So they're going to be young. I think Coach Utram is really, he's excited for this year, but he's excited for the future of the program, as they've done a lot. And that, we talked about Chris Moose and what he's done kind of year round. Well, Marty kind of, they go cross country, indoor, outdoor, and Mark Prisbaki is now with them too. He's a great,
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, he's a new
very
teacher.
energetic. Tara Flanagan
Yeah.
is in there as well.
And I see him in the hallways talking to the kids
Oh,
over at
he's-
the middle school.
right.
They love him.
Right.
It's just such a good energy.
Right, and that's kind of where that's exactly
Yeah.
what we want, and that's so that program's kind of a year round. You look at the basketball, and that's kind of where I was going with Chris and
Yeah.
Gary. They've really, since the COVID time, have said, "Hey, how can we get more kids involved?"
Yeah.
And they do it while supporting all the other sports as well, right? They have that's the one thing we have to understand, and all of our coaches do, and that it's that relationship respect thing. We have a lot of highly competitive programs for the numbers we have. We offer a lot of sports for the numbers we have. we really can't have one sport athletes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
They're
sharing
all
that goes
over.
on with
Yeah.
athletes.
Yeah.
Coaches, I think, have started to step back and understand that. Even during their season, sometimes they make sacrifices that, and maybe in the past we wouldn't have done. It's kind of how we
Right.
evolve as people
Right.
and look at and go, we're here now. How are we going to do all this that's good for not only my program but also all the other athletic programs? And
The greater good.
right, and getting the teams to understand that has been. It's good for me as the athletic director because you can call somebody and go, "Hey, we're gonna need some help here," and the coaches are always
Right.
like, "Hey, I see it for my program, but I also see what we need to do for athletics. How can we help?" And kind of how we do things. And we know some challenges that might be forthcoming, and already kind of idea sharing and how we're going to manage it and balance it, so the kids are as least affected as possible,
Right.
and
so that
feel
nice
and
support
feel
network.
most supported. Yep.
Yeah. That's
Right.
wonderful. That's great.
So, so that's kind of what
Yeah.
kind of going through. I'm excited for that season. It's always a fun, and there's a lot of energy, and it's a long season.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to go right. It's a tough season, right? Because the length of it, and you get into it, and then there's Thanksgiving, and then you get into it, and then there's the summer break, and then you get into it, and there's February break, and kids go away, but our teams can't go away because that's right in the
and
playoff
you're still
time.
Here
Right, you're still
practicing and
here.
working.
So it's this constant, and our coaches do a
Yeah.
great job managing that too.
That's wonderful. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the capital project and how that has affected some of the teams this year. I know that played a big role, right? Like redoing the field,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
I think right away you come in and what you hear from opposing fans, our fans, the kids, even athletic directors who we've hosted some events already. They just kind of come and go, it looks great. Like
Yeah,
the
it
aesthetics
does.
of it.
Yeah.
It just, you kind of look out, we still have that natural, and that was something, and we're still even doing some parts that aren't finished yet to keep kind of that natural look to it.
Okay.
But the rest of it still looks, it's so well done. It just looks great across the board. And that was important to us right from the start. Not only functionality, I mean, kind of with the lines we drew, right? We kind of took a line from, we talked a lot about cross country early in this. We kind of took a line of the cross country start and kind of drew a diagonal line to kind of where they all funnel into for the start and finish.
Right.
And when we have to stay clear of this.
Yeah. I know that was like
so
a puzzle piece.
It was,
trying to
so then
figure
we were
out
puzzle
every
pieces. The throwing circles that got added in, I think that's kind of looked over or glossed over a little bit, but they really are top of the line throwing circles. We talk about wanting to host meets. We've hosted the Section 6 team championships here before for track. That just makes our facility 100 times better for that. Kind of where the throwing circles are located, a little bit more in the middle of it, being
Right,
able to
not so
see
far
it,
out.
spectating, and then just kind of the setup of it is like a D1 landing area, all those things. So that really helps. The new turf is to the point that while I wish there was a press box and a scoreboard, you have to kind of give and take to fit everything in and to make everything work. But I know like Coach Beal wanted to play his St. Joe's game, which is a big non-league rivalry, on the new field. He's like, so while we don't have a press box, we have this area, that the setting of it and how it looks and where it is, and the stone seatways and that natural kind of look we have with the seating area.
Which is unique.
And then it's very
right?
unique. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very unique, and everyone kind of comes in and is appreciative of kind of what we did with that, just that little area. The tennis courts kind of looking as good as they are.
Yeah.
You kind of
That's
see, the windscreens, kind of how, and we might refigure those a little bit, but kind of how they are, and they kind of identify where you are in the East Aurora. You can pick that up from the road. You can pick that right. You're
Yeah.
coming down. You know where you
It's
are.
very visible.
Right, as soon as you as soon as you pull into the area.
Yeah.
And that already, like we were able to host, the Section 6 Class A because they want them on a neutral site. So we were able to host the large school tennis championships between Orchard Park and Clarence. I'm already looking at, and I've talked with Coach Heisner, even looking ahead to the spring. Hey, how can we host the ECIC tennis championships here? Because we still have some courts that are usable up where the old courts were. We have the facility to do it, right? We have the now facility with track. We can run 2 lacrosse games. Kind of what is, and my hope even just on practices and what it opens up kind of when we get into the spring. The fall's great, to be honest with you, but really this was needed for the spring. Because the fall starts in August.
Right.
Right.
In the summer.
Generally speaking, grass, you can use grass fields. And I know the Bills are putting in grass right now, but you get to the point where the resources we have to support grass fields are very, very limited.
Yeah, it's a lot more maintenance.
Right, it's a lot more maintenance, and you can do it in the fall because generally we're not worried about it flooding out and those things. Snow melt, you never even know when the snow's melting. The amount of rain we get through March and April,
Right.
generally speaking, those fields aren't usable until end of April. So where we were putting our teams, the hope this year now is with that extra turf field is we're getting lacrosse turf practice time, and they've kind of been there. We're getting baseball and softball turf practice time. They play a majority of their, even though we don't play our home games on turf, they play a majority of their road games on turf.
Okay.
So we can lay out fields for those sports if we need to. So it just, not only that, what it does for physical education, right? They were already out
Right.
there with
Yeah.
different courts and we have the competitive courses, and we have the individual skill courses, and we have some of these, and they're able to even divide up into tennis courts and do different activities, different games. The turfs are now wide enough that they can have different classes out there with different ideas and different focus points.
So it benefits everybody.
It
whether you're
benefits
on a
across the
sport or
board,
not.
right? Whether
Yeah.
you're on the sport or not, it just benefits everybody. It just has really kind of helped with that space.
That's great.
And even us talking about practice schedules, not only for what happened in the fall, but already in the spring. I was on calls today talking about kind of what we're going to do.
Oh, I bet.
So it just kind of helps us and support our student athletes and give them the best possible experience, not only in phys ed class, but on the athletic realm as well.
That's wonderful. Thank you for
Yeah.
everything you do. I know that's a big job. We have about 2 more minutes left. Is there anything else you'd like our community and parents to know about our sports program?
Yeah,
They
I
might
mean,
not.
I think the support that we have, like I mentioned, last year I think the final number was that 81% of our student athletes in the high school played at least one sport. Those,
pretty
yeah, those numbers are just so far above. When they're here in our athletic programs, our coaches, and I kind of mentioned earlier, they do such a great job of making sure, and they share the vision. The vision is also shared with them that our number one goal is to make people better individuals. I am highly competitive. A lot of the coaches we have are highly competitive, but it's understanding the balance of what those two things mean.
Right.
That, look, there is absolutely something about the experience being in a competitive program,
Sure.
but it's also, hey, and I think you can even be more competitive when all the kids understand that you care for them. Why is Walt Marty and Beal and Coach Schuster and Coach Caselny, we talk about all them so successful all the time? It's
Yeah.
because the kids can step back first and foremost and understand that when they're at practice, they're careful. When they're at games, they're careful. Sometimes they don't see eye to eye in what happens in the game or
Sure.
what we're doing, and that's
Yeah.
part of coaching.
Yeah.
But that isn't questioned, and when that's not questioned, it makes all the kids understand that they're there for, and helps us achieve kind of common goals and then want to chase the common goal.
That's incredible, and again, speaks to our culture,
Mhm.
right? We have such a unique, special culture here, and
Right, and then you mentioned it, right?
These
You
kids are amazing.
walking down Main Street, and
Yeah.
they're talking about the cross country the day before. They're talking
Yeah.
about the soccer that day,
Yep.
and it's a constant support from the community that then the athletes are coming out, and B, frankly, very few districts have.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so
So-
much. This is incredible. Thanks for giving us a little update, and can't wait to see what we do this winter.
Thanks for having me
More
today.
to come. Yeah, absolutely. Thank
Thanks.
you.